Okay, welcome back from Thanksgiving break. Hope everyone's ready for our last unit of the semester. This is Unit 6 and it is higher order polynomials. So today we're going to be working on how do we divide polynomials, especially when they're not factorable. So we're going to warm up by taking a look at some long division. And say we want to divide 2,473 by 8. The way we would do that is we'd write the 8 on the side and 2,473 under our divisor. Our first step, see how much you remembered, is to write the factor on top. So 8 does not go into 2. Does 8 go into 24? The factor is 3 times. So we write the 3 on the top. Second step then, we multiply the number we put on top by what's on the left. So 3 times 24 is 24. And now we subtract it. Okay, so 24 minus 24 gives us 0. And our fourth step now is we bring down the next term. So bring down next term. Even if it's 0, we bring it down. So make sure you remember that. We bring down anything. So we bring down the 7. And we're going to repeat. Does 8 go into 7? No, it goes in 0 times. So we would put a 0 up there. 0 times 8 is 0. 7 minus 0 is 7. Bring down the next term, which is a 3. Now, does 8 go into 73? Sure, it goes in 9 times. 9 times 8 is 72. We subtract 72 from 73, leaving us 1. At this point, we're going to stop, because with polynomials, we want to see what this remainder is. So our last step is going to be write remainder as a fraction. If I'm writing this as a fraction, I take the remainder, the 1, and put it over the 8. So this is 309 and 1/8. We're going to do something very similar with our polynomials below. Okay, so let's take a look at this first one. We have n minus 7. We want to divide n squared minus 3n minus 21 by n minus 7. So the n minus 7, put exactly where we'd put the 8. And under our divisor, we put the term we are dividing, n squared minus 3n minus 21. And when we're dividing by polynomials, we always look at the first term and the first term here. So what do we have to multiply n by to go into n squared? We always want it to go in exactly evenly, which we can do with polynomials. So n goes into n squared n times, right? N times n is n squared. Just like with the numbers, our second step now is to multiply what's on top by everything on the left. So n times n is n squared. N times a negative 7 is a negative 7n. Now we want to subtract. So we put the minus sign and put parentheses around there to remind yourself you are subtracting everything here. So n squared minus n squared is 0. Negative 3n minus a negative 7n. This becomes a positive, so negative 3n plus 7n gives us a positive 4n. And just like above, we bring down the next term. So in this case, it's a negative 21. And we're going to see, what do you have to multiply n by to go into positive 4n? Well, of course, it's plus 4. Now we multiply the 4 times everything on the left. 4 times n is 4n. And 4 times a negative 7 is a negative 28. Again, remember, we want to subtract now. So put parentheses around there. 4n minus 4n gives you 0, which is what you always want to see. Negative 21 minus a negative 28. Again, this becomes positive, so negative 21 plus 28 is a positive 7. And just like with numbers, we want to write our remainder, here's our remainder, as a fraction. So n minus 7 goes into n squared minus 3n minus 21, n plus 4 times plus a remainder of 7 divided by n minus 7. That is our whole answer. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Notice on this one, we are dividing by something other than just a single x. So we've got 2x plus 3. We want to see how many times that goes into 2x squared minus 17x minus 38. And again, we always look at our first term and our first term. What do we have to multiply 2x by to have it go in evenly to 2x squared? The only difference is a factor of x. And notice I'm putting the x above the x term here. So x times 2x gives me a 2x squared. X times 3 gives me a plus 3x. Next step, we subtract. 2x squared minus 2x squared is 0. Negative 17x minus 3x gives us a negative 20x. And we bring down the next term with its sign. So we have negative 20x minus 38. What do we have to multiply 2x by to get a negative 20x? Well, this time 2 goes into 20 10 times, and x goes into there once. So it goes in 10 times, but we need the sign to be the same, so a negative 10 times. So negative 10 times 2x is a negative 20x. Negative 10 times 3 is a negative 30. And now, remember, we're subtracting here. So negative 20x minus a negative 20x becomes a positive, so negative 20x plus 20x is 0. And negative 38 minus a negative 30, it's the same as addition. So negative 38 plus 30 gives me a negative 8. That is my remainder. And again, we write that over what we divided by. So plus a negative 8 divided by 2x plus 3. So you always want to put that plus to indicate we're adding this last little piece here. We could put the negative with the 8 to indicate that that was a negative. Okay, let's take a look at one that we have a third power. Okay, so we've got x cubed minus 13x squared plus 40x plus 18 divided by x minus 7. We'll write the x minus 7 outside our divisor and put everything else inside here. X cubed minus 13x squared plus 40x plus 18. Okay, and again, look at the first term. So our x, how many times does x go into x cubed? In other words, x cubed divided by x would give us an x squared. So we line it up over our x squared term. X squared times x gives us x cubed. X squared times a negative 7 gives us a negative 7x squared. And we need to subtract that. So x cubed minus x cubed is 0. Negative 13x squared minus a negative 7x squared, that becomes a positive. So negative 13x squared plus 7x squared gives us a negative 6x squared. Bring down the next term, so we've got plus 40x. And now we want to see how many times does x go into negative 6x squared. So negative 6x squared divided by x is a negative 6x. That's our factor we put on top. Negative 6x times x is a negative 6x squared. And negative 6x times a negative 7 gives us a positive 42x. And we subtract that. So our x squared terms cancel. And now we have 40x minus 42x, which will give us a negative 2x. And bring down our last term, plus 18. So again, we want to look, negative 2x divided by x would be negative 2. So we're going to multiply everything by negative 2. Negative 2 times x is a negative 2x. Negative 2 times a negative 7 is a positive 14. Take a look here, subtract. X terms cancel, and 18 minus 14 gives us a remainder of 4. And we write that again up on top, plus our remainder of 4 divided by our divisor, x minus 7. Hopefully you're thinking at this point this is a nice simple procedure that will be fairly easy, and it is. So let's do our last term, our last problem for the example. We've got 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5 divided by x minus 3, or x plus 3. So the x plus 3 comes out here, and here we've got 2x cubed plus 4x squared. What do you notice? We're missing an x term here. So you can write that in with a plus 0x as a placeholder, and then minus 5. And it's a good idea to put that placeholder in there. It'll help keep things lined up for yourself as you work the problem. So now we want to say, how many times does x go into 2x cubed? And it goes in 2x squared times. So 2x squared times x gives us 2x cubed. 2x squared times 3 gives us a positive 6x squared. And we want to subtract that. X cubed terms disappear, or cancel. And we have 4x squared minus 6x squared. That will result in a negative 2x squared. Excuse me. Now we bring down our next term, and again, this is why we have that placeholder in there. We bring down that 0x. How many times does x go into negative 2x squared? Well, it goes in a negative 2x times. So notice again, I'm putting it above that 0 placeholder. So negative 2x times x is a negative 2x squared. Negative 2x times 3 is a negative 6x. And again, we're going to subtract. Our x squared terms cancel. Now I have 0x minus a negative 6x, so that becomes positive. 0x plus 6x gives me 6x. And we bring down that last term, minus 5. X goes into 6x 6 times, so plus 6 on the top. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 3 is a positive 18. And we're subtracting this. X terms will cancel. Negative 5 minus 18 gives me a negative 23. So we're going to write this up on top. Again, we'll put a plus a negative 23 divided by x plus 3. That is my answer. X plus 3 goes into this, 2x squared minus 2x plus 6 times plus a negative 23 divided by x plus 3. Okay? Hope that helps.